What we're going to be talking about today is a little thing called Cart Narcs. Now, if you don't know Cart Narcs, as Quasimodo says, hero of the proletariat. And if you see his content, it might be easy to feel that way. However, sometimes it just feels a little strange. It feels weird. It just feels too confrontational and like he gets too angry about things. And overall, it's meant to be comedy. The typical rule for comedy is you shouldn't ever be punching down. And it might start to feel like he's punching up. Like he's like, man, these guys don't put their shopping carts back. They're bad people. And then he quickly turns it into him punching down, which feels bad. Now, some of you are saying you've never seen Cart Narcs, and that's fine because we're going to go over everything. It all spawns kind of from this meme, right? It's a pretty common thing. We've talked about it on a episode of the podcast, actually, very early on, where Erica of Judges fame claims her hot take, if you don't put your shopping cart back, you're a piece of shit. You're a bad person, right? And I think that's a pretty commonly held feeling. I personally, when I go to a store, I always put my cart in the cart corral, and I always make sure to park near one for two reasons. Number one, makes it easier for me to put a cart back. I don't want to have to walk to a cart corral. And number two, if I'm parked next to a cart corral, the likelihood of somebody being lazy enough to not put their cart back is way lower, right? And I'm not defending not returning the shopping cart. As Davey Boy says, not returning the shopping cart is anti-societal. So if you've never seen Cart Narcs, let's get into Cart Narcs. This is the YouTube channel, right? He's got over 500,000 YouTube subscriptions. And as you can see here from his videos, very simply titled, uploads every couple days, maybe once or twice a week. And it's literally just thumbnails of people in their lives. These aren't actors. These aren't like skits. These are real people that he is filming in public and just posting their face in normally not very positive light. If you look up Cart Narcs, it's going to be people reacting to Cart Narcs or his videos. This is one of the most common ones. It's titled, I'm a fat. If you look up the thumbnail for this, it's literally this dude's face. This dude who was just shopping that he has plastered on the internet to get over 3 million views on YouTube. And then just put, I'm a fat asshole. Imagine this like dude working where you work. His life is going to be worse off. The most damage you could do by leaving a cart out is completely like minimal compared to the amount of damage that an image like this of you online can be. Come on, 3 million fucking views. You think this dude's personal life hasn't been negatively affected by this? Gay lesbian, you say, I'm going to start putting my cart back. That's the Cart Narc says is his prerogative, is he wants people to put their carts back. But why don't you want to get confronted by Cart Narc? It's because it sucks. That's like my first thing that feels yucky, is the way he portrays the people. So let's watch the video.
You are this close to being on the ground.
Keep an eye on this gentleman. Leaving the cart there actually makes it harder for him to open his own door. Light him up. The one good one. There you go. Sir, you left your cart right here.
So we could already see he approaches a stranger in a parking lot. He looks like a cop. He wears a bulletproof vest. He has like Cart Narc text on it that where a SWAT logo would go. So it looks like he has authority.
That's how the cart goes. Pick it back to the cart corral area. What? Carts don't go right there. They go back where the cart returns are. There's one over there. See where that guy just came from? Or over there where I just came from over there? I just came from one. I'll show you where it is. I'm with Cart Narcs.
That's great. That's great job. Do you work for that?
No. We are a highly trained, that's not our siren, by the way. That's an ambulance. We're a highly trained organization. Of narc. Common usage of it, like narking someone out, snitching on them.
Oh, okay.
Like, not narcotics, like
snitch.
Essentially, yes. So what we do,
that's great.
So we show people the error of their ways, and like that gentleman
just. I get up at 3, 4 this morning.
Uh-huh.
I've been working all day nonstop. I think they pay for a guy to do this.
See.
So this is a common argument that you'll hear is this guy said like, oh, well, they pay people to take the carts away. This guy gets to posit himself. I mean, I don't think he posits himself like this, but as somebody said earlier, that he's a hero of the proletariat, right? Because the person who's getting paid to return the carts is getting paid close to, if not minimum wage. The job sucks, being exposed to the elements. It's not a very particularly rewarding job, right? It sucks. Cart Narc being able to do a moral grandstand here, he's gonna say like, well, yeah, they pay people to put it here, but like, why should you make their job harder? Which is a valid argument. It's like directly on the floor because someone gets paid to clean the restrooms. He does use that argument as a counterpoint where he says like, well, people clean the restrooms, would you on the floor? And absolutely not, right? But this has been a pretty chill interaction, right? is the dude's giving him a little bit of back talk where he's like, dude, I don't want to put my cart back, whatever. Watch him escalate.
99%.
But you're very tired right now, and it's causing an error in your judgment, lazy bones. No, sorry, let me explain. Here, I got these, we have these bumper magnets for you. I'm gonna put the right.
So he calls him stupid, right? He's like, oh, you're tired, so that's why you're being stupid. He calls him lazy bones, which is like his fun little slur he gets to say.
Right
And then he places this magnet on the truck.
It's got our hotline number on it, so you can call that for counseling.
Look at the escalation.
Oh, what's going on? What are you doing, sir? Why are you approaching me?
Why am I approaching you?
Yes.
This is yours. Take it back.
No, it's got our number
Take
for
it
you.
back.
Look, all he's trying to do is give him back his magnet, right? He'll use this defense where he's like, I actually didn't damage your car, so this isn't bad. I can put the magnet on your truck, right? Which is wild. It's absolutely wild. That is his personal property. By putting the magnet on the truck, he has escalated the situation. It is very, I'm not touching you energy. It's not illegal, so I can get away with it energy. It's like, officer, she was 18. I'm 39, but she's 18. It's legal. And it's like, well, but you understand that you're being an asshole now, right? And there's a better way to do this. If Sebastian of the Cart Narcs truly cares about the carts not being returned, he should just return the cart, and literally just talking to him and being like, hey, bud, leaving your cart here is actually really rude of you, but I'm going to take it back. And then go. That dude's going to think about that interaction, obtains the same thing.
It isn't for you.
Take it
To
back.
teach you how to be a lazy bones.
Take it back.
No, sir, you keep that.
Take it
my
back.
gift to you. Why are you?
Take it back.
Why are you running after me?
Because you're a fucking asshole.
I'm a nice guy, sir.
So yes, this guy, I don't know his name, he has now assaulted the Cart Narc guy, right? He threw the magnet, which is wrong. He should not have done this. But to be fair, that is the Cart Narc's magnet. That is not the guys who left the cart out's property. He's trying to return the property, and then Sebastian keeps poking buttons, keeps pushing people's buttons until he retaliates.
I have rights. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I know. And what I'm saying,
Leave me alone.
I'm having a small.
Leave me alone.
I'm trying to have a polite conversation, sir.
No, I don't want to polite. Leave.
Sir.
I'm calling the cops.
See, she's.
On her.
I'm a guy, actually. I'm a man.
Call the cops on him.
No,
Leave me alone.
No, I'm a nice guy. I'm having a polite conversation about how to be civil to your fellow customers.
Sebastian will say this a lot too. He's like, I'm a nice guy. He purposefully has this persona on. He kind of just repeats what people say back to them. He never swears, really. And so then, it's this moral grandstanding of like, I'm being perfectly calm. Why are you getting so angry? Nah, I'm being so calm. Why are you so angry? I'm going to skip forward here.
And let the record show, I did not call you fat. I'm a nice guy. We don't body shame.
The guy claims that Sebastian called him a fat ass. Sebastian didn't. He didn't use those words, of course. And then the dude drives off. He gets back out. He starts yelling again. A guy from the store comes out, and Sebastian spends a ton of time talking to the guy from the store. Again, we have to think about what's happening here. A cart was left out, right? In the video that we've watched, there are carts left out across the entire parking lot. If Sebastian genuinely cared about carts not being left out, he would not be recording this, antagonizing people until they give you a reaction. That way you can post it on YouTube and have a better video. And he would have just put the cart back and be like, I'm sorry, sir, I don't mean to bother you. I'm just going to put your cart back. Like, yeah, he's just literally spending his whole day escalated situations. And right, and then he plays the victim. He turns it back around on the people. So we're going to get off of that video. I'm going to show you a clip here. This was a Fortune magazine video that was put out 2 months ago detailing Sebastian, how I make 6 figures a year. And I want to do this just as a quick little thing on how the show got started and the show.
Sebastian grew up in Nashville, Tennessee with parents who were not in law enforcement. He spent some time working at a grocery store when he was in high school. And you can say that's when his cart obsession started to develop.
She fully blocked the handicap spot next to her. That's a dick move. Wheedle whip skeep wee. I'll get it for you, ma'am. Thank you for stopping. But come on.
Sebastian went to
A very important thing to remember while we're watching this Fortune magazine puff piece is exactly this. This is a puff piece. Everything that is said here is information given by the Cart Narc, and he probably got final, or at least some say in the passing of what was being posted, right? So in that instance where he just went, hey, come on, put your cart back. I'll get it. Don't worry about it. If this were just a Tuesday afternoon and there wasn't a magazine doing a puff piece on him, maybe he would have screamed at that old lady. You know what I mean? And like, as we see, he has now demonstrated perfectly clearly If he truly cared about only putting carts back, this is how easy it is. Not running towards anybody, walking right up, being like, hey.
I'll get it for you, man. Thank you for.
Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, you're sweet. I'll get it, right? Perfect demonstration, because now that lady, I promise you, that lady is going to go home, talk to whoever, her friends, her partner, her kids, and be like, the weirdest thing happened to me at CVS today. I left a card out, and then a guy came up and said, hey, you shouldn't leave that out. So strange. And then next time she goes to leave a card out, she's still going to think about it. I just keep that in mind.
Sebastian went to college at Georgia Tech to get a chemical engineering degree in 2004. After spending a few years working in pharmaceuticals, he moved out to LA to pursue a career in radio. He's turned it into a full-time gig, working Monday to Friday as creative producer of The Woody Show on morning radio for the past 8 years. That's where the idea for Cart Narcs came about.
It was just a conversation with the guy in the office about, why don't people do this? Like, why can you not use the cart return when you see it and you know it's there? And I just went out one day and started asking people, and it kind of rolled from there.
Sebastian tested out his curiosity by asking people at grocery stores as part of a segment on The Woody Show back in August 2018. In February 2020, he created the Cart Narcs YouTube channel. He saw that it had potential to grow into its own brand.
So I looked up the radio show. It's called The Woody Show. The Woody Show's own description is insensitivity training for a politically correct world. If that ain't the most Gen X way of saying, I wish I could say more slurs, I don't know what the is. So let's look into it. On The Woody Show, one of his claims to fame was they started this piece that he started doing called Trolling with Sebas. Sebas is his nickname, Sebastian. Trolling is literally self-admitting that what you're doing is just poking bears, right? That's what the definition of trolling is. It's making people angry in order to generate a response. Now, this isn't the Cart Narcs. This is his other work. And if you see, actually, I'll show you here on the Woody Show's YouTube channel. If you sort by most popular, their most popular post 4 years ago, almost 7 million views. Two other top 4 videos, which is 9 million combined views. Who paid for your Coachella ticket? Right? And these are pieces that were done as part of the Trolling with Sebas umbrella. So I'm going to show you who paid for your Coachella ticket first, because I think this is a really good example of a good idea of what his humor is and what he's trying to do.
Sebas here from The Woody Show at Coachella, where you could come for the bands, but why not just come for the pictures? And why not have your parents pay for it, right? Olivia.
Totally not creepy. Nothing about this, Sebastian, is weird, right? Nothing about this is people enjoying their fucking time in public, having a good time, taking pictures because they look hot, and you zooming in with your fucking camera over someone's shoulder onto a camera. That's not weird. That's normal. That's a normal thing for people to do. Bro, if I looked that hot, you best fucking believe I'm taking pictures. Are you kidding me? I've never looked that hot in my life when I take pictures. It's insane to be like, well, came to Coachella and dressed up. You can't take pictures. You only can listen to the music, actually. If you do anything other than listen to music, then you shouldn't be here at Coachella. What am I doing at Coachella? Funny thing you asked. I'm interviewing people and not listening to the music, actually.
To Coachella.
Because I love it. I've been 2 times before.
And who are you here to see this weekend, Olivia?
Techno music.
Like in general?
All of it. Yuma Tent, don't take me out of it.
Yes, Barbs. I was just about to say that. This is literally, oh, you like techno music? Name 3 bands. Name 3 songs that are techno music. Pay attention to who he's interviewing, because we'll not see an interview of the fine gentleman over her left shoulder. Just like 2 dudes wearing normal clothes or whatever, just chilling. You won't see those people in the interview.
Now, Olivia, who paid for your Coachella ticket?
My daddy.
Why?
Because I'm poor.
How'd you ask your dad for your Coachella ticket?
I didn't ask.
He just gave it to you?
Oh no, I just put his credit card information in because I memorized.
I don't know if this is a shock to people. Poor people don't really go to music festivals. Is that an insane take? It's not like her dad is a 9-to-5 blue-collar worker, 12-hour a day working at the oil rig, and she took away his money because she's a spoiled brat. She's a spoiled brat because her dad is rich. This shouldn't be news to people. We shouldn't feel bad that this girl, who probably as a joke said, oh, I stole my dad's credit card.
immaculate like necklace and arm thing, and then I have like cuffs at the end of my arm going on with like pearls and diamonds. Basically, I look rich as so that's the vibe.
And it's like a lace top, right?
Yeah, it's crochet.
Or crochet.
I want you all to guess why he's interviewing this girl. How come he's not interviewing this guy back here? Or even the girl with him?
The shoes.
That's right, sick hat.
Who bought your Coachella ticket?
I didn't buy a coach. I sucked, honestly.
Well, I think that's like a joke. That sounds like a joke.
No, I really did. Inadvertently, I f***ed this person and they gave me the ticket, but I didn't f*** them for the ticket. I didn't f*** them for the ticket. I just want to point that out. I f*** them on the side and then they give me tickets.
That is peak Sebastian humor. Now, you could describe that as you had a friend that you were hooking up with and they gave you tickets, which is normal. That's a normal thing that happens. Like, if I'm dating somebody and I get tickets to something, or even if I'm loosely dating, I'm going to invite them to go to a thing, right? Does that make sense? But she and her friends jokingly added humor to it and said, oh, she fucked someone for the tickets. I sucked dick for the tickets. And he's like, whoa, what? That's a joke, right? No way.
Coachella this weekend.
For the parties, to like, I just had good outfits ready, so I was like, you know what, let's do it.
Now, who bought your Coachella ticket?
My pimp, Ashley, pimp daddy. I mean, I've just been going out for so long, so it's like...
You're like sort of like the club guy?
Like a socialite situation, going to events, and like, that's my vibe.
So who's got the best drugs in LA?
Again, why do we think he approached him? If I had to take a guess, this is just pure speculation on my end. I'm guessing he didn't approach him necessarily.
Now, who bought your Coachella ticket?
I'm guessing, a hunch on my end, that he approached her. And she didn't want to talk to him. And then this guy was like, I'll talk to him. And it is a sick hat. You know what? The sick hat theory is actually catching water. But this guy says, like, I go out, I party. And then he retorts with, who has the best drugs?
Like a social...
But the lady behind him has a sick hat, right? Do you think she got interviewed? Probably not, the way she's giving him a fucking side eye for recording in public. I don't know if I can show this. But look at this. Literally look at this. I can't show this, but I am going to pause on it. He is following a girl in a bikini. Recording. Anywho, he comes back and she talks back with this girl and he ends off about how ridiculous it is that this person had sex with somebody and then got tickets to, again, an extremely wealthy event. This one, in my opinion, more indefensible. This is titled Apologizing at the Women's March 2020.
Sebas from The Woody Show here. I attended the Women's March in order to atone for my many sins as a male.
Oh, well, I'm apologizing. I can only really apologize for myself, obviously. Sure. My ex-girlfriend and I thought it would be really funny one time. You ever heard of the term Dutch oven? No. It's where we were in bed, and it was like the morning, like Sunday morning, and we had like a nice dinner the night before that I had paid for, which I shouldn't have. I should have gone Dutch. But speaking of Dutch, well, no, the Dutch oven is where you take the covers and you put them over someone's head and you fart underneath the covers.
Oh my God, that's so gross.
If you were her, would you forgive me?
I mean, I grew up with two older brothers and they did really dumb shit. I think that actions and like growth are more important. So like, if you went back to her and were like, listen, I'm sorry. Like, if I were her, I'd just be like, thank you for saying something, you know?
It's a fart joke. The joke on its surface is whatever. He's like, yeah, I Dutch ovened my girlfriend after not going Dutch on dinner. Because, of course, as a feminist, you have to go Dutch on dinner. That's how it works, right? Whatever joke. But put it into the context of what is going on. There are women here and people of all kinds doing an active march to further women's rights in America. And he is going there, centering himself with a camera and making a fart joke to somebody. What is the joke on? Is the joke that he's not actually sorry for being a man? I feel like that's what it is, because he says, like, I used to be part of the patriarchy, but now I have to apologize for being a man. Something nobody is saying you need to do. And so the joke becomes that he is making, it's not just a fart joke. He is making light of the entire movement, as Bryce says. The entire movement of being a woman and trying to advance womanhood in America is him boiling it down to, I farted under the covers with an ex. Let's continue.
Sort of had a rule where, and I agreed to this, that I couldn't finish in bed until she finished 6 times. And one time, it was like 4.5, 5 times, and I went ahead and finished. And I was, at the time, I was like, oh, whatever, you know. Then thinking later, I'm like, no, that's what I agreed to, you know. Like the word had gotten around that I was like.
So now the joke is, ha, I had to make the woman 6 times while I only get to 1 time, which means I'm a really good man. But, oh, boo-hoo, I only made her 5 times, and now I need to apologize to a random person in public who came to him in good faith, came with him assuming that he wouldn't be a f***ing bag. She didn't walk into this conversation consenting to, like, have a joke made at her expense. And this is what I mean, where he loves punching down. He wasn't walking around and somebody came up to him and was like, you need to apologize for being a man. And then his retort was, oh yeah, I do need to apologize because I only made my girlfriend 5 times. He has put himself into the situation to make light of it. And I think this is really important to understand as we take a look into Cart Narcs as a whole.
She's got a bunch of hits this year, but she's a large lady.
So he's talking about Lizzo.
He saw, you know, the singer Lizzo.
I don't know. No.
She's got a bunch of hits this year, but she's a large lady.
Okay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
And my coworker said she was, you know, fat and gross. But what I should have said is, no, Lizzo's beautiful, gorgeous goddess. And I didn't say that, and I'm just.
There's a few things that Sebas loves to make jokes about, okay? It's kind of like slut-shamey stuff. He makes a lot of joke about only directed towards women. We've already seen that. He does really weird gay jokes sometimes, and I'll show you that later. He loves, very rarely does a written piece of content. He loves doing fat phobia a lot, right? He is now proposing that somebody who is as fat as Lizzo cannot be powerful and beautiful. That's the joke he's making. Now, in 2023, we all know what happened with Lizzo. That doesn't mean you can just body shame her. And of course, this was recorded in 2020. Cart Narcs was started on the same show for the same purpose of going out and people, literally trolling people in order to generate content. I agree. I think it does reek of cringy ass satire. It's the kind of satire where people say, hey, if we pop back here, oh, come on, you're being too politically correct. It's just a joke. I'm not against jokes. I'm against bad jokes that are also based poorly. Does that make sense? So this is his Twitter. His bio, please slip it into my DMs. I mean, come on. Like, it's not funny. We'll throw up bio for bio. Who's worse? Most people call me Josh, but you can call me maybe. Hey, I get it. The difference is I wrote that bio in 2012 when I was 19 years old. I don't know, whatever. Comedy, typically you want to punch up. When you punch down, that's when it gets weird. And there's a way to do sometimes punching sideways, and there's a way to do punching down sometimes, very, very rarely. But typically you want to punch up, right? So he tweets here, he may be gone, but we will always have a pile of wet garbage on the corner to remember him by. Okay, strange. Who is this person we're talking about? So I keep scrolling on his Twitter. Tremendously unpleased with my neighbors for doing a hashtag Last of Us episode reenactment. Hashtag safety first. Okay, interesting. People hate on Eric Garcetti, who's the mayor of LA, for encouraging our unhoused neighbors to block sidewalks with tents and garbage. But my hashtag neighbor pays it forward by leaving out free apple juice for the school children in the area. So he's making fun of homeless people. Is it worth the 119 likes? It's weird, man. Now, I don't live in LA. Of course, where I live has unhoused people, right? No matter where you go, homeless people exist. I just choose not to make fun of them for being forced into a situation that they more than likely couldn't control. And yeah, he's pissing into a cup. Are there public bathrooms? No, not open to homeless people. Like, what do you mean? What is the joke here? So, lastly, on his Twitter, we see, had a thought about how gross septum piercings are and how they are a trend that morons are following because they are mindless dummies who don't want to work to be actually attractive. How many celebrities / prominent people have these metal boogers? Very few. Hashtag shared thought. Damn, bro, you really popped off with the 46 likes on this one. This is a man who is criticizing people's ability to do fashion, and then this is his professional headshot. If you Google Sebastian Davis, this is his official LinkedIn picture. This is a man who says if you have face piercings, you're a moron. Who here is like, man, nose piercings aren't hot, right? We all understand that face piercings are hot. This is Kravitz, Zoe Kravitz, right? Like, what do you mean? Here's Scarlett Johansson, a nose piercing. I don't know who this is, but very attractive celebrity has a nose piercing. Bella Thorne, nose piercing. Like, what are you talking about, man? This is what you look like. What are you talking about? And this, a final nail in the coffin on him claiming to be a feminist here. Can't believe I won Powerball tonight. Still shaking. It wouldn't be fair for me to keep all this, so I'm going to hashtag pay it forward. I'll donate 1 million from this ticket to one woman retweeter and 1 million to one woman liker. Hashtag this is what a feminist looks like. And then he has a photoshopped picture of a Powerball ticket. And it's like, man, it's the same joke you always make, which is, haha, I'm a man, therefore anything I do, I have to give to a woman. It's so lame. It's such a lame. Actually, I don't even know if it's a fake picture. It might just be that he won $2. It doesn't really matter. The joke is still the same. Okay.
Ezekiel
So
Elliott.
now, before we get fully into Cart Narcs, we're going to look at his on-air personality. This is a video that they posted 3 weeks ago on the Woody Show's YouTube channel. It's called Sammy Turns Up on Seabass.
It's now a New England Patriot, Sammy.
Okay.
You know who that is?
I've heard of him.
Oh, I thought you were a big Patriots fan. You didn't follow the news?
Yeah.
No, I never follow anything in the off season.
Have you ever heard that guy? He's a big player.
This is not the off
This
season.
is when things are. This is the season. Well, it's preseason. Whenever you watch.
No, the season started quite a while ago when they started making all the moves and drafting. And
Oh yeah, I don't pay attention to any of that.
It's false, right? The NFL season just started this week. It started 6 days ago as of recording this.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's
He's
a
a
whole
big fan.
generation of girls just like Sammy who are not Patriots fans.
They're
They're Tom Brady fans.
They are Tom Brady
That's
fans.
untrue.
That is
Says the man who again does not like septum piercings, but has decided to go out in public with this hair.
true.
Okay.
I've been a Patriots fan my entire life. I have a Drew Bledsoe jersey. Shut up, Seabass.
Wow.
Drew Bledsoe played last in 2001, I believe. She has literally been a Patriots fan her whole life if she has a Drew Bledsoe jersey. But of course, it's just the classic woman cannot like sports, so therefore you are stupid. That was 3 weeks ago. And then also they posted a video while I was doing my research and I saw his tweets that were anti-homeless. An entire clip called "Would You Date a Homeless Guy?" It's just strange to me how often it's like them making fun of homeless people, which I think is probably more normalized in LA. I'm not saying it's okay, of course, but I think it's more normalized in LA because of the perceived notion that like all homeless people move to LA because it's so good to be homeless in LA, when in reality that's just not the case, and being homeless anywhere fucking sucks, and it's a failure of our systems that anybody is homeless. So let's move on. We're gonna watch some more Cart Narcs stuff. If you watch people reacting to Cart Narcs, this is very frequently one of the videos that will come up.
Person in a handicap spot, which, by the way, clearly she doesn't need, is blocked.
Immediately in this video, he clocks someone in a handicap spot, and because she was walking, he says, clearly she doesn't need that spot.
Blocking the handicap.
Insane
exit
thing
area.
to say.
So the next person who's really out now. Started the car. Just cart return is on the other lane, but it's right over there. Oh no.
All right, now here comes the
All right, boys.
confrontation.
It's time to light her up. Hey, ma'am, sorry, that's not where the cart goes. That's in the handicap walkway. Someone who's actually handicapped might need that for like their wheelchair or something.
Okay, now again, he confronts her aggressively. You can say like, oh, what do you mean? He's talking calmly. He accuses her of not needing the handicap spot immediately. Immediately, he already calls into question her ability to park in that spot. That's aggressive. That's escalating the situation.
Right, someone who's like in a...
Oh, no, I'll move it. I mean...
Thank you. See,
and I do have a handicap, actually.
well,
so just letting you know. But I get what you're saying.
Is it lazy bonesitis?
Boom. This is what I'm talking about. He has shown in previous clips that I've already shown on this video. You can walk up to her in a nice manner and say, hey, you left that cart out wrong. And she already agreed, oh, you're right, I'm sorry, I'll go move the cart. And she's even being nice and being like, I do actually have a disability. So just so you know, I do have a disability. And then he calls her a lazy bones. Now, is lazy bones a made up term? Yes. Does it sound bad? Yes. Does it sound worse if you have dealt with maybe potentially having people claiming that you aren't actually handicapped and that you're just being lazy and faking a back injury? Also, very, very important note that I believe shines through, and nobody addresses this. The cart that she left is center camera, center frame. There is somebody else taking the cart to go shopping with it. Now, I am not saying that excuses people from leaving carts out. Of course, again, I always put my cart back. I believe you should put your cart back. But there is no problem here. That old lady is using that cart. For all we know, something that we did not hear is there was an interaction between these two ladies where the person that was leaving the cart was about to go push it back somewhere, and the old lady said, actually, I'll take that. But instead, this guy comes up, aggressively demands her to prove that there's like, oh, you're not actually handicapped. And then when she says like, oh, I'll put the cart back, he calls her lazy bones.
But like
I'm sorry, wait, what?
Is your disability lazy bonesitis? Because I saw you walk around the store and then you
Oh,
came up-
absolutely. Yeah.
I think you're being
And I literally jerked my back, and now it is killing me.
Sorry.
And today's been a better day. But have you seen my MRI, sir? And who the fuck are you?
Oh, I'm the Cart Narcs.
Okay, well you can cart narc go f yourself.
Well, that's
How
not
about
nice to
that?
say.
Oh, that's not nice to say. She said go f yourself after he was claiming that she was faking a disability, right? Something that he has no proof of making a claim for, which is rude. It's rude to say. He didn't say the F word. He didn't say, hey, you fucking piece of shit, you're faking a fucking disability. But because he said, hey, you're faking a disability, you lazy bones. And then she responds with, actually, I have a disability, you fucking asshole. He's like, whoa, uncalled for. What do you mean? What do you mean? I was being so nice. I'm just a normal guy dressed in a bulletproof vest, claiming to have authority over a parking lot, approaching a woman in a parking lot and saying, hey, you're not actually disabled. How many of you would feel personally threatened if somebody you do not know, a man who you do not know, walked up to you with a body camera, a bulletproof vest, sunglasses on that blacken out his eyes, and a little wavy wand, approached you as a individual in a parking lot? That's fucking threatening. Like, no matter what, that is threatening. And now I get why he's wearing a bulletproof vest, because as he will say, and we'll see, a person has pulled a gun on him before. People do crazy shit when they get confronted. That's expected. I'm not saying it's right, it's expected. But it's fucking asinine to posit himself as in the correct in this situation. He has inserted himself into a situation that did not need his resolution, because the cart that she left has been picked up by somebody else, and there's another fucking cart right there. Why didn't he go yell at that person? Why didn't he go tell that person that, oh, you're blocking a handicap spot? It drives me insane. It drives me insane.
Well, lazy bonesitis. How about assholeitis?
Well, I'm a.
Don't stutter at me. And
Listen, she ate
Man, you
here.
didn't let me finish my great statement.
And look, that's not even her cart. That's not even her cart. And she's going to take the cart back, which means, again, if Sebastian was truly a good, honest, noble person who, as he claims, is only doing this as a way to get people to take their carts back, he has won. He has won. She is going to put the cart back. But guess what that doesn't get? YouTube views. Now, whoa, weird. It doesn't get YouTube views. So you have to, he's pushing buttons intentionally.
thank you, sir. You can leave me alone.
I'm a responsible
Thank
personitis. That's what I have. I have too much of that. The
You
cart corral's right over there.
responsible personitis. You have to go f yourself, itis.
I don't think you're making. That's not
It
where
can
it
go
goes.
there. How about there? How about this? You want the cart there? You can go f yourself and
I
put
don't
it
want
there.
to put it there.
I don't know who you think you
Let's
are,
say
but don't
some-
ever tell somebody with a disability, is it lazy bonesitis?
Well, it might be.
You're a f***ing.
Well, I'm just pointing out what. Don't hit me, ma'am.
Okay, now again, this is what happened with the first video that we showed, where he has poked the bear enough that the bear is going to hit back. That's literally what the fucking phrase means. He is antagonizing her into a point to where he can turn the situation back onto her. And so now she's hit him. You know, it was a little smack. It's wrong. That's assault. You can't do that. But just because he was using his words to literally call into question her entire existence, it's kind of fucking deserved.
Your glasses, I'm gonna throw them on the ground.
Well, that's theft and
A theft.
yeah.
Theft.
God,
Is
she
that
eats
theft?
so hard here too. He's this is probably one of the few times where he's probably like kind of scared.
Yeah, taking my stuff and destroying it's theft and vandalism and vandalism.
Sitting here and being an asshole.
And pointing out when you were being lazy is what I did.
Lazy. I'm not being lazy. I'm hurting. I have an autistic daughter I take care
All
of.
right, listen. The phrase "I have an autistic daughter" is a wild one to pull out of pocket. I don't know what situation that works for you in, but it's wild to pull out in this situation. To be like, I left my cart there because I have an autistic daughter is crazy.
And I have a disability. Go f yourself,
ma'am.
Cart Narc.
So you can walk all around the store.
How about that?
You
Go
just
f yourself.
delicious McDonald's and
Go
delicious.
f yourself.
I love bang
I
energy
don't
drink,
care.
but you're throwing it at me.
I don't give a shit.
Look, man, let me give you my business card.
I don't know who you think you are.
I'm the Cart Narcs,
But
I
don't
told
ever
you.
tell somebody with a disability it's lazy bonesitis.
You got a pretty
Go
good.
f yourself,
You got a pretty good
Cart
throwing
Narc.
arm for someone with a disability.
Throwing arm, it's my back. Cole.
You still got to use your back to throw. Would you like my business card or not?
She's holding her back the whole time, might I add. She is literally like, even if she's faking it, which I do not believe she is faking it, she is literally doing this, clearly showing that she's in pain. So like, how can you posit that she's faking it? It's wild.
That's
little
assault.
girl, okay?
Okay.
Would you like my card? Thank you.
No, I'm glad you're
You
afraid
tore
of
my
me. You
card.
better be.
Well, I don't want you to assault me again.
Assault you?
You've
I
already hit
threw drink on you,
That's
little
assault.
girl, okay?
And
Don't
that's
be a little girl.
And as a feminist, I take offense with that girl.
It's such a lame joke, man. As a feminist, actually, I take offense to that. Little girls can be just as strong as big boys like me. It's like, dude, come on. Do you think you ate with that? He's like, actually, as a feminist, that's rude. Like, what is that? Like, what are you doing? This doesn't make you look good.
Girls are just as powerful as men. I am.
Yourself.
You can ask my
Before I
friend.
run you over. How about that?
That's.
Get out of
I'm not in your way, and you shouldn't
the-
threaten.
and.
Ma'am, you shouldn't threaten.
Oh man, to hit him with the and is so good. All right, we're gonna skip forward a little bit. They're talking a bit.
Yes. Okay, no, I have 6 bulging discs in my neck. Look, I have
She's describing her disability, which is not something that she needs to do. She's doing it out of
Pretty well.
again. She's trying. I feel like all in all, at this point, she is trying to de-escalate again. Where she is now trying. She's gotten past the stuff, and to his credit, I don't want to give him any credit, but at this point, there's multiple times where she was trying to de-escalate. She got in her car to leave. At the very beginning, she's like, I'll take the cart back. You're right. She got in her car to leave at one point. She is now standing here being like, I am disabled. So whatever the you think you're doing is wrong. And every time he gets back in there and pokes it. Why? It's not because he's a good guy and wants people to put their carts away. It's because he wants to get views on this video.
Well, too, may I say.
Absolutely, I'm in a hurry to go home to my autistic daughter.
You're not that much of a hurry because you've been throwing stuff at me and trying to hit me
Come here.
and steal my things.
Come here, I want you to.
I'm sure you have an autistic daughter.
I'm not trying to steal.
And I don't think she wants her mother to be like this. If I had to, you probably could be a better role model for her.
My daughter.
You're
is
modeling
just
poor.
fine with me. Look,
I don't want.
She's literally showing her past that shows she has a disability. Like, she's trying to de-escalate. She's trying to be like, look, I can park here. This is proof. And he's still just like, oh, you're a bad role model for your daughter, actually.
a human being, you're a real piece of work.
I'm a cart narc, is what I am.
No, Sebastian.
Yes, I am.
You're a piece of shit.
Ma'am, I didn't throw anything at somebody.
Sebastian, you're not inside my body, so don't ever insult nobody.
I doubt many
By
people are
telling
getting
them.
inside your body anytime soon, quite frankly.
Wow. This is a man who, in this video, he said,
And as a feminist, I take offense with that. Girls are...
as a feminist, girls can be just as strong as big boys. And then later, he literally says to her face,
I doubt many people are getting inside your body anytime soon, quite
you are unfuckable to me. And so therefore your value is less as a woman. Literally what he said. So that is the throwing arm video from Cart Narcs. Now, I am far from the only person to recognize Cart Narcs and who he is as a person. And this, unfortunately, is where we come across this meme. Because there is one man who had the gall, the audacity to call out Cart Narcs before me. And that man is the internet's favorite deranged grandpa, Dr. Phil. Now, I fucking hate Dr. Phil. He's a piece of shit. But we're going to watch Cart Narcs on Dr. Phil here. He currently thank you. Hey, I won Pro Farturo. Yay. And this is my point, Pro Fart. I don't blame you. I don't blame you for enjoying his content originally, because his content feeds on that innate feeling of, yes, he is punching up. He is taking people who are such pieces of shit that they leave their card out, and he's putting them in their place by yelling at them. Honestly, what spurred it is there's a video, I'm not going to show it here today, but a video I saw on TikTok, and it was very apparent that he was a fat white guy who was probably gay and was smoking, and he confronted him, and all of the comments on the TikTok comment section. Now, this was not an official Cart Narcs TikTok. The Cart Narcs does not have a TikTok. Every single one of the comments was like, "Oh, this fat piece of shit. He's probably burning so many calories running around his car. Oh, he's smoking. That's not good for his health. Just like his heart's gonna give out because he's so fat. Oh, you F slur. If I bet you smoke as many poles as you do cigarettes." Like literally just homophobia, fat phobia, all because the guy left a card out. He left a card out. And I'm not saying again that leaving a card out is okay, but why the in humans, Americans specifically in this context, they see something as trivial as leaving a card out, and they feel like it's okay to berate people. It's wild. And now, Maddie, you make again, this is the point, right? Leaving a card out is wrong. It's wrong. It damages people's cars. Absolutely. But imagine on your worst day, some guy approaches you that you don't know, a white guy with spiky hair wearing a fucking vest with a camera on it that looks like a fucking cop, approaches you aggressively in a fucking parking lot and starts yelling at you. Not yelling. Again, he's very specific on his tone of voice. So I won't say yelling at you, but I will say he starts questioning you and berating you, being like, "Oh, you think you're too good for us, huh?" And now your picture gets put online into one of these fucking thumbnails. 666,000 people have seen this woman's worst day. And now what's the benefit? Because that's the cost. The cost is people are getting lambasted online. The benefit? Do you think that person ever leaves a card out again? Like, genuine question. I don't know. And there's no way you know. There is no way to measure recidivism in this case, right? If you want to talk about actual crime and punishment and see if it's good or not, you need to see recidivism rates. You need to see if this woman ever leaves a card out again. And now there are people in this chat who are going to be like, "I'm not going to leave a card out because I don't want to get yelled at by this guy." You probably weren't leaving cards out in the first place, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I've never once, I mean, again, I always put my cart back, but I've never once thought, "Oh no, I was gonna not put my cart back, but what if that YouTube guy comes and yells at me?" And so you can't even prove that what he's doing is causing a net positive other than in his pockets. And again, that's my ultimate point here, is he's trying to claim like he's a good dude. "Oh, I'm just trying to like help the world." But he's just profiting off of making other people angry. Unfortunately, someone who has a very similar stance as me, not entirely the same, I will say that, is Dr. Phil.
You said somebody curbed their cart. You said this is a violation of what?
Of public decency. How many times have you pulled into a parking spot?
Well, you said it's a violation as though it's a violation of some code.
No, there's no criminal charge. There's no ticket I'm writing anybody. It's just a violation of common courtesy.
So there's his defense, is I'm not doing anything illegal. Which again, may I posit, is the exact same thing that people leaving their carts out are doing. They're not doing anything illegal. And by his own argument, then they can respond the same way that he's responding. And just because he's not using swear words or raising his voice doesn't change what's going on.
Yeah, with Cart Narcs, that's just curbing. It's a violation here. We'd like for you to take the cart back to the corral over that way if you could. Where are you going? Sir, we have a maneuver called a pit maneuver.
Okay.
Cart's right here, sir.
Sebastian took the cart that was left out of the way and put it right behind where this dude needs to back out of. So this guy called into Dr. Phil to talk with him here.
You feel like you were victimized by him and shamed on the internet?
Yes, I was.
And what do you want to say to Agent Sebastian?
Sebastian, it's not good to go around and push people's buttons, because you're going to provoke a reaction. You're gonna get a reaction. And what you do is you push buttons for no reason.
So the guy kind of just summed up everything I've said in the last hour and a half, which is you're poking buttons for no reason. Like literally you're doing it. I mean, now he's going to object here and say, I wouldn't say it's for no reason. The reason is that you left a card out, which I think we can all understand the difference of saying no reason, meaning zero reason, and no reason meaning no significant reason, no important reason, right? I would argue there is a reason why he's doing it. Money, yay, money. If this didn't make him cash and views, do you think he would be going around doing it today? Dr. Phil brings on his mom to talk. He brings on Cart Narcs' mom to talk and pretty much act as a character witness to be like, no, Sebastian is super chill. Like it's actually really sick that my son does this, and he's actually a really good person.
But in the alternative, you could take a whole other ploy, because shaming people, name calling, those things actually demotivate people and cause them to have an abreaction, a resistance to change.
So here we go. Now, Dr. Phil, what he's trying to state here, this little triangle, this is basic psychology, ways you can correct a behavior or enforce a behavior. It's the same way you don't spank a child for a bad action anymore. You talk to them and explain like, hey, let's talk about why that action was wrong and let's figure out a way to do it better. It's a lot more effective. I'm going to show you a clip here. It's from a podcast called Get in the Car. This whole Dr. Phil thing was like huge for him. It got him a lot of views because, of course, it's Dr. Phil. Everybody loves watching Dr. Phil, even though it's dog TV.
All right, what about this guy?
Do you think he'd put his card away?
I think this isn't
Dr. Phil for
folks
the
who don't know.
listeners.
We did a Dr. Phil episode, winter of 2021, and he was on my case. He was he would not. I would make a point, and he would either ignore it or move on to his next talking point. He would not have an actual discussion or admit that taking your cart back is the normal thing to do.
That wasn't the contentious point. I think that's what people get confused whenever, like, even when I started criticizing Cart Narcs, is I'm not criticizing or being contentious on the point that taking a cart narc or taking a cart back is not inherently a good thing to do. I said that. First thing I said is that I always take my cart back because I believe it is the correct thing to do. The contentious point is how you fucking treat people. And that's what Dr. Phil was saying. That's what Dr. Phil was saying. It was like, it's weird that you treat people this way. And you ask, why is he dressed like that? That's the outfit that he wears when he's doing this, as he looks like that. Again, need I remind us that people who wear gross septum piercings are morons. And then this man shows up and looks like this on a day-to-day. Like, come on.
The producer for my episode was saying, hey, we need some females. Because if it's me and Dr. Phil, I guess plus that's his audience, I guess, is,
we need these numbers up.
Exactly. And so he's like, what women do you know who support you? And I was like, well, my mom does. And
he's like, perfect.
Yeah. So they flew her out from.
Also, so sad, right? So sad that he has two, and we've seen two people on The Woody Show who are women that are co-hosts or at least have appeared on the show. And Sebastian, to the question of what women do you know who support you? He goes, well, my mom. It's like, come on, man. It's like, does anybody you know think you look handsome today? He's like, well, my mom said I look very handsome today. So actually, you look like an idiot now, don't you? It's like, you couldn't think of any other woman. So he's claiming that they only brought her on to have a woman, which is whatever. That might be true. So this guy, this producer of this podcast, is trying to be like, oh yeah, I get what you're doing. If the people that you put on blast online to millions of people to comment on, maybe they'll watch that video and be like, I learned my lesson. Maybe I should put my cart back, is pretty much what he's saying.
Maybe I shouldn't be so rigid.
That is the hope.
Right.
So far, I've had zero.
Zero ROI.
Because I would love to shoot a video one day where we go back to the scene of the crime, so to speak, and they say, hey, I'm sorry, my bad. And I've never gotten a message.
Boom. If that ain't fucking proof of the pudding of what he's doing is fucking, I don't know what is. As I was saying before, the recidivism rate needs to be more than 0. So I just think it's fucking asinine that he tries to be like, oh, I change the world for the better. What bothers me about it is that he won't just fucking admit he's doing it for views. And why? Because that looks bad. So, unfortunately, here he is, folks, the man of the hour, Ethan Klein. Not adverse to controversy himself. He found out about the Cart Narcs. He saw a TikTok, and he's showing the I'm a fat a-hole video that we watched earlier. So Ethan's asking for a temperature check on the audience.
Temp check here. Like, do you feel bad for the guy who's been narked on? I mean, he's obviously over the top.
So AB, his host here, in response to, do we feel bad for the guy who's getting narked on? He's like, it's complicated, which I feel like perfectly, again, sums up what's going on here. So what he does is he brings him on. He brings on Sebastian for an interview. I think this is interesting to listen to as, again, it describes of where he comes from as a content creator.
Are you like a comedian or an entertainer? Do you see yourself as anything like that, or?
I mean, yeah, that is what I try to do, is put a comedic spin on things, you know, with like the silly names I'm calling people and just the very over-the-top, ridiculous way I do things kind of helps highlight I'm being so silly and they're being so angry. So, like, I think if I went out and, like, yelled at people and cussed at them, I wouldn't, you know, the hero-villain dichotomy wouldn't really be there.
Right.
So he describes it as a hero-villain dichotomy. That's what he's going for. Which to me is wild. I mean, again, I get it, but he's giving the game away here where he's telling us, like, I am purposefully acting the way I do by not swearing and by keeping a quote unquote calm voice that makes me look like the good guy. And they look like the bad guy.
Yeah, so there's that really famous one, I'm a fat a-hole. Like, that guy was about to freaking lose it. Like, do you ever feel bad for them, or you're like, fuck them?
Well, I do. I feel bad. Like, there was that guy, the I'm a fat a-hole guy, and there was a guy who recently it was in Palm Springs, and he was chasing me around his Corvette, and he was jiggling all over the place.
Yeah.
To the point.
Hey, there's that fat phobia coming back. I said it was there before, but it's like, again, what does that have to do with anything? Are fat people worse at putting carts back?
And he was like, I'm going to kick your ass after you, mother effer, come here. The cracker, he called me the C word.
And then if that doesn't tell you everything, as soon as I heard this, it's like, boy, that just really ties a bow on everything I know about this guy. The fact that he unironically was like, the C word, he used the C word. He called me cracker. It's like, man, what a fucking loser. Like, actually, cracker is a slur. I'll say that you're jiggly and that's not rude, but you can't call me cracker. That's actually really rude of you to say.
I feel bad, but, like, again, they're doing this to themselves quite literally.
Everything that I do, you're bringing upon yourself because you're the one not putting the cart back. It's like, yeah, it's not a societal norm for people to come scream at people who do slight wrongs in the world, right? So they aren't doing it to themselves. You're doing it to them.
What percentage of people would you say are polite? Like, are just like, oh, I'm sorry about that, let me put it back.
Probably about 25%.
Wow.
And I've gotten to the point now to try to, like, because people will say that I'm instigating or harassing to the point that, so I try to tag one of those people on the end of every video to show that you could be like this person who pulls this gun on me and is chasing me around with a taser or whatever, or you could be like this other person who just said, my bad, no big deal. So that's about 25%.
25% who just ignore. So keep breaking it down for me.
The other 50% is probably 50-50, where the other 25% of those who will give me some lip, will tell me to F off, will try to make a couple of excuses, but ultimately they kind of give up. You know, they're like, they'll maybe take one magnet and throw it on the ground, and then when I put the second magnet on, they're just like, I can't, you know, they're done. Because I probably diffused whatever excuse they have. You know, they might say, well, they pay people to take the carts, and I might say, well, yeah, from the cart return, not just in the middle of the spot where you left it. And then they kind of, that's the end of their argument there. And then the other 25% are the violent ones who will chase, threaten, try to run me over with their car, which is...
There you go. He says 25% of people are violent. Now, in an interview clip we watched earlier, he said like 90% of people put carts back. So we can guess maybe 1 out of every 4 to 1 out of every 10 people aren't putting their carts back, and he's getting a video out of. Which, again, if you look at their YouTube videos, he says that he records like most weekends. 4 days, 7 days, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, like maybe once or twice a week, which means I would imagine most people that they're recording aren't freaking out and making good content. I'm just guessing that. which again means you don't want to go out as a content creator. You don't want to go out on your weekend wearing a whole ass fucking getup, record for 7 hours, and you didn't get anything YouTube worthy. And then you go home and you're like, well, that was a waste of time. And so what prevents that from happening? From antagonizing people, calling people lazy bones. He uses that in almost every single video. It's become like a catchphrase. So much so that Frankie Muniz even uses lazy bones. And it becomes a thing where it's like he needs to like, you know, it's the same content where it's like he's forcing people to look bad so that way he can get money off of it. He is the only Cart Narc. He has a coworker named Cameron, and he does videos. Sebastian does videos where he calls himself Agent Cameron, and he puts on a like stereotypical gay voice and then is like, oh, I'm Agent Cameron. And he like does that character. I don't know why. I do not know why. He's just like, I need to have another character in here. And it's just him. It's not Cameron. And it literally is haha gay equals funny. I swear to God, that's the only joke he's making. So let's skip a little bit forward here. He describes a celebrity. His name is Perry Caraveo. He's an American actor, comedian, internet personality. He's best known as the star of the 2003 movie Windy City Heat. And then I guess he is like notoriously an actor. He's talking to Ethan specifically about Perry Caraveo here.
A guy named Perry Caravello, who is known, at least amongst the LA comedian crowd, for a movie he did called Windy City Heat on Comedy Central with Jimmy Kimmel and blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of people involved. Well, he's like a known a-hole in LA. And I knew some people who knew, and he was talking about how he doesn't return cards, blah, 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 blah. And so I knew where he was going to be thanks to some inside information. He did not know I was going to be there.
Wow.
And I stuck one of these on the end after he chased me around and tried to beat me up.
So he literally just admitted to like targeting and harassing a specific individual. I don't care if the guy's an ass. That's fucking insane. Like he was like, yeah, I got insider information. I knew where he was going to be. I tracked down his location to harass him. And then I posted a fucking YouTube video about it.
Oh, look at that.
And that makes me look good. So this is the video here. I'm not going to show the whole thing, but the guy immediately freaks out.
Now, sir,
get your fucking shit off my fucking car!
And of course, he's wearing a fanny pack, which means he gets to name it Fanny Packer, which is again, haha, anal sex joke, gay joke, ha 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 ha, very funny. And again, we see it here.
Let me get you another one right there. Do you go to the bathroom, and when you go to like jerk off a guy in the bathroom, do you do it in the sink and toilet, or do you wait for the employees to come? No, you do it.
Oh, ha ha ha. Oh, wow. Do you jerk off at a guy in the bathroom? Ha ha ha. Very funny. Very funny. Gay hand job. Very funny. That's where it leads us into the cartoons. Cart-Toons, as they are so called. There are, I believe, 19 or 18 cartoons. Okay, you can see them all on this little playlist here. There are 18 of them. I'm not going to show you all 18. I watched all 18. I did that for you. You don't need to watch all 18. Because let me tell you, I lost a lot of brain cells watching this content. And look at what the bad guy in these videos look like. Does it look familiar? Kind of fucking wild that they just straight up based the bad guy in these videos after the guy that he stalked. So here we go. This is our first cartoon.
Mommy, I can't get my chair out because this fat ass left his cart here.
Fat phobia?
I've got a handicap placard, so I can do whatever I want, even if it is a dick move to people with actual disabilities.
Claiming that people without visible disabilities don't have disabilities.
That's not where the cart goes.
I'll get you, Cart Narc.
A lazy bone says what?
I want you inside me, Cart Narc.
Now listen to the notes here. It is him perceived as a superhero. It is a fat guy who is the bad guy. The woman character says, I want you inside me. Just keep those notes in mind.
See what happens when you don't return your cart, lazy bone?
They made me check out my own groceries, so I'm going to leave my carts out until they pay me.
An argument that nobody has made.
First off, no one
made you. By your dumb logic, they also made you grab your own food off the shelf and made you drive yourself to the store. You trifling ass bitch.
Okay, now again, these are all written and performed by Sebastian. I guess I don't know if they're written by Sebastian, but they're all performed by Sebastian. I feel like it's weird to write in a non-white character and then do AAVE as a baby, as an infant. I feel like that's weird. I don't know if everybody else feels like that's weird, but that was his choice.
I want you inside me, Cart Narc.
All right, and we get the I want you inside me. All right, next video, folks.
Wee-hoo. That's not where the carts go, mister. You think you're a cart narc, huh?
Whoopski widdly whoop.
Oh my god, little Rusty, are you okay? He's fine, ma'am, but this is why we always say, leave the cart narking to us professionals. We can handle these lazy bones with our superior training and muscles.
I want you inside me, Cart Narc.
Okay, cool. I want you inside me. Noticing a theme. Look at this fucking comment. I love how every one of these ends with I want you inside me, Cart Narc. Absolutely golden, LMAO. Like, come on. There's no way you actually think that's funny. But I digress. Here's some more.
Try that in my city, fart narcs, and I will, eat your whole ass.
Haha, gay equals funny.
Your phone is going off, Cart Narc. Also, I want you inside me.
Nothing serious,
Okay,
man.
that one came in early. That one came in 15 seconds instead of at the end of the video.
I'm just some internet tough guy trying to act hard. Let's pay him a visit. You see...
Also, now this is, I'm pretty sure that what's supposed to be implied here is that he's drinking bleach. Which is man, the only people who criticize me are depressed losers who want to commit suicide. Which is crazy projection, I feel like.
Hey, lazy bones, we patrol everywhere. From Oakland to Miami to Queens to Compton. Your dumpy little town isn't anything special.
I thought I could just talk smack online and no one would call me on being such a pussy in real life.
He has written this as having somebody call me out is bad, but I can call you out, and that's okay. That's literally what he wrote here.
Like to apologize for being such an online lazy bones?
Yes, please forgive me, Cart Narc.
I think he wants you inside him, Cart Narc.
Okay, haha, gay equals funny. Love that, love that. Now this here is the longest one. And I normally wouldn't show you it because I don't want to make you have to consume a 2-minute cartoon. But this is the most unhinged video in this series. You love the Jean-Claude Van. Oh, there we go.
I know
Want
you
you
do,
inside me,
ma'am,
lovely.
but we've still got work to do. All right, lazy bones, why didn't you take your cart back where it belongs?
Fuck you, Cart Narc. Why don't you worry about more important things than a damn cart?
The old more important things.
Literally admitting that he's a debate pervert here, which is so funny to me.
Volunteer at the local children's hospital and I'm just holding you up from your important work? Of course not. You're going to drive your portly self back to your hovel and masturbate to Sailor Moon, aren't you?
If you're looking away, look at the f***ing screen right now. This is a cartoon. Multiple videos in this series have kids in the name, like the word kid. I'm not saying this is made for kids, but clearly animated stuff will, be marketed towards kids more. This man had somebody animate the bad guy thing all over his house, beating off to Sailor Moon, as if that's the same thing. He's claiming that masturbation is bad, and also that leaving a card out makes you a bad person, akin to those who go and masturbate at home. I want to show you one actually that I didn't have up on my list here. It's called Agent Cameron.
Hey, get that off my car.
Sure thing, lazy bones. Just take a few seconds to put your cart where you know it belongs.
I told you not to touch my car.
Well, I asked you nicely to take your cart back.
I don't care what you said.
Then why should I care what you said?
Because...
This happens often, little girl. Their tiny lazy bones brains can't handle basic logic and reasoning.
Here you go, you tubby drain-on society.
I won't
Fat phobia.
you inside me, Cart Narc.
And then haha gay, haha sex. There we go, folks. That is the animated portion of the video. I counted on the 18 animated shorts that they have. They make the I want you inside me Cart Narcs joke 17 times. Let's close out here. Let's end let's end everything that's going on. I've shown one clip from this before, but I think this will sum up exactly my point of the video.
People that you interact with, they give you a reaction. Like, do you, I guess, ever have a thought of you're putting this person's life online and like how that could be perceived for them?
That's
something that I've brought up a ton, which is that you are now publicly putting on blast a random individual who, whether or not the legality of it, does not probably consent to having their likeness put on your YouTube video for you to make money on.
Definitely a concern, and that's why I try to keep it just to the actual cart and that interaction. And
we have watched him berating a handicapped woman for not being actually handicapped, for not being f***able. He has moved the cart behind somebody, preventing them from leaving. He defaces people's cars by putting magnets on them. That's not keeping it to the cart, man. It's not. We've heard him stuttering at any form of pushback. Exactly. You might feel like I'm being too critical or like nitpicking when I say that he is choosing specific people to target. Right? I've said this all along. It's like, why weren't you yelling at that old lady? Why weren't you yelling here? And that's because of this.
Right. And what are the boundaries for you that you don't cross?
A couple of basic Cart Narcs rules. No approaching anybody who has little kids. Because, not that that's an excuse, but that if the person, the adult flips out, I don't want the little kid to be, again, an innocent bystander. Same thing with very old people who maybe have mobility issues. We don't approach them. We'll often take their carts back for them. Anytime where there is innocent bystanders or people who are really blocking traffic, I usually cut it off there.
So he even admits that he has a selection bias, who he's going to, try to persuade to be a quote-unquote better person. Which I think is just an insane tell that like he is targeting people specifically to piss certain people off. Like why is an old person who has mobility issues not okay to harass, but you can harass a woman who is not old, quote unquote, who has a disability. It's very strange. It's very strange how he decides to target who he's going after.
When you go out into the lot and you get a reaction, it may not be as explosive as some. Do you ever go into it being like, oh, this may not get as many views on YouTube? Do you ever worry about like that kind of stuff?
I don't, because if everything is just like exciting, dangerous, that goes to a bad place eventually of just fist fights and guns and stuff. And I think that's more of like why people enjoy Cart Narcs is it's not just that, it's also slice of life. It is people telling stories. It is nice people. Like when the old lady I was talking to somewhere who was, I was taking her cart back for.
So he's claiming now again, he doesn't try to provoke people into, screaming to get a good video. Look at this f***ing interaction. He goes up to an old woman and is just like, I'll take your cart for you. You don't even know if she's going to leave her cart out. He literally just goes and helps her, and look how nice and friendly this interaction is. Why doesn't he do that to everybody? It's because he's fishing for a f***ing interaction that's gonna blow up and be aggressive.
Sebastian is editing his videos or enjoying some downtime. He rents a $3,000 a month one-bedroom apartment in LA and drives a 2011 Honda Accord.
That is a line fed to Fortune magazine to try to make him seem humble. I'm not gonna pretend to know what the rent scene in LA is, but I'm fucking sorry. You cannot tell me you spend $36,000 a year on rent for a one-bedroom apartment and be like, oh, I'm just a humble little guy. I drive a 2011 Honda. I'm just a humble guy. What do you mean? Like, I'm sorry. $3,000 a month on your apartment isn't making me think like, oh, you're really humble, actually. You're not doing it for the money. And at the very end here, they're doing a final recap.
I definitely bust plenty of people who have disability placards, and this is a little controversial, I admit. If I see them walk out to their car, load their groceries, and get in the car and do that all just fine, and then when they don't need their cart anymore, just dump it, especially blocking the handicap spot like that, then I will bust them. But if they clearly,
Which I think is fair. I don't think what he's saying here is necessarily wrong, right? Just because they have a disability placard doesn't mean that they get to just leave their cart around. I agree with that.
are, have a cane or other mobility issues where it's obvious they're having trouble moving around, I'll do what I just did, either grab it for them or grab it after they leave. Now, if people say, oh, well, you don't know everybody's disability. Very true. I mentioned this on the Dr. Phil show. Some people abuse that access to just be jerks.
Boom. He literally just, without any good grace you could afford him. He's like, oh, okay, maybe he's made a mistake. He's literally just like, yeah, I just don't believe people when they say that they're have a handicap and I can't see it, actually. Which is just wild. He just insane to finish off this 13.5-minute puff piece to be like, yeah, I do regret calling out handicapped people, except I don't because I think they're faking it. So there we go. That is Cart Narcs. I just think he sucks. I think the guy sucks. I think Sebastian just sucks. It's clearly like a good thing gone bad, in my opinion. Like, it's so gross to me. It's disgusting. I think this content shouldn't exist. I think, honestly, if you maybe just blurred out the faces, I'd be slightly more okay with it. I think it's wild to film random unsuspecting people and put their face on blast and put them in the thumbnail. I think that's insane. I think that's sociopathic. And his humor is just like boring. It's this like we just watched so much of his content all the way from 2018 when he was doing Coachella stuff, all the way through 2020 with the Women's March, his tweets that he's made in the past couple months, the Cart Narcs videos, and the humor has never changed. It's never evolved. It's like preteen humor of like either haha fat, haha gay, haha you want to have sex with me, haha I can make a woman, haha feminism. It's weird, mainly again because he tries to show that he's punching up, and then if you watch it for more than 45 seconds, it's like, oh, you are punching down so hard. A sign of a bad comedian and bad jokes. So I'll end on this note. Put your carts away. It helps the minimum wage workers who they work a dog job. They work dog hours for a dog shit company. It helps protect other people's cars. But if you see somebody else like leave a cart, just like don't run at them and start berating them for being a bad person. That sound all right? Yo, look at this. Look at this. How did I not see this?
Take your card back.
Cardi B. This was paid to be produced.